Stop watching Bluey for 10 minutes.
Oh, hey, that's a good comment below. Do you watch Bluey? Because it's really, really good. Trying to keep somewhat up to date on reviews because I don't know about you, but like bourbon, there's a new release. It feels like every 45 seconds. I just saw a press release this morning. Miranda Eves is now releasing a 5 year, 96 proof bourbon at $140. And I'm just like, it's great that she's back, but I don't know about that. That's
Wasn't
a,
it in It's a Wonderful Life, every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. Now
yeah,
it's every time a bell rings, a new bourbon releases.
yep.
Is
Well, a
that where
new,
we're at?
not only that, it's a new limited edition, needs to be
Oh,
over a
wow. Yeah.
$100 special bourbon. But
You
with
must
that,
have.
yeah, here's a limited edition that we love and we've been screaming about for 3 years, not 4 years, 4 years, because the first year they just released one batch. Like
We
this
that
year,
old?
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Holy cow. Um, and we've been talking about it. Let me double check. Yeah, 2019. Ooh, wow, it's been a while. So 4 years they've been doing this. Uh, I think this is the best limited edition because it's limited edition in the fact that it only comes out once, maybe twice a year, but it's easy to find for like those 2 months, at least for
Most
us.
part. Yeah.
Yeah, in most parts of the country. I mean, I went into Kroger the other day and there was 15 cases just sitting there. Like they were
Yeah. You're in
getting to the point
Kentucky.
that, yeah, getting to the point
I
like,
went to
please take
Costco
me.
and there were two bottles.
Yeah. Benny's might have it by now. Who knows? We'll see.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. So depending
Cheon.
what part of the country you're in, it's going to be there quick. It's going to be there a little bit longer, anything like that. But that is the Maker's Mark Wood Finish Series. This year it is called BEP. So we're back to weird random names and everything like that.
Without the
Uh,
Star Wars reference, we like the R2D2s
yes.
slash
Uh,
RC6, actually. But
it was SE4 PR5. I can
oh,
see
well,
him now, which
yeah.
is
But
great.
before
It feels
that
special.
was the RC6, right?
Yes, the RC6 was the first one ever. The sad news is this is it, folks. Wood Finish Series is done with this. Um, Probably partly because their master taster, master distiller left, and they were kind of the ones in charge of this. So
Or maybe
the
that's why they
good
left.
could be, but they left because they're gonna, start their own distillery because we need more
Oof.
limited editions to appear. Uh, Ding, there went another bell. But anyway, um, this has always been a really good value for us. So we'll see what we think of the final one.
So this has been on our list of best values in bourbon since it released.
Yeah.
So generally 65, $75 kind of price range. And this Elijah Craig Barrel Proof have been at the top of our list for you need to buy this every year for the since the release of the wood finishing series. So
Yeah.
all of them: RC6, SEP, SE4, PR5, the FAE series, and then last year's BRT.
Yes.
All fantastic, especially for the value.
Yeah, and they've been cool because they're not a traditional Maker's Mark product. There's a little bit of a twist on them, which gives them a different taste profile, which is really fun.
Yeah, maybe a bit reminiscent of their like 46 cast strength or some of
Yeah,
their store picks.
yeah,
They're where they get creative with their state profiles.
yeah. So instantly on the nose on this one, I get a whole bunch of oak, which is interesting because you got to remember Makers is only about a 6 year product. So they do 3 years on the bottom, rotate it and put it 3 years up top as far as how they age all their stuff. So generally, you don't get a ton of oak. But yeah, it's definitely there. And there's, of course, the Maker's Mark Cherry.
Yeah, I get oak, and then maybe just kind of with that, maybe some cocoa, some chocolate that
Yeah.
I think is just some of that rich oak coming through.
Yeah, it's a delightful nose. A little bit of spice on there, maybe black pepper and ethanol. But
I was to say overall on the palate, like you get a little bit of oak, a little bit of sweetness. I mean, it is a wheated product, so we're not going to expect rye spice through the finish. And it's a flavorful finish, I'd say it's a light finish.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd say it's well balanced. Easy drinker for what are we at? 110.7 proof.
But I will say there is a little bit of ethanol from start to finish that comes in. But it is definitely sweet oak cherry on the beginning of that palate. And then, at least for me, from palate to finish, there's a little bit of astringent note with the ethanol coming in, but then it does go to a nice slight spicy finish. Kind of like when you slightly over pepper your eggs in the morning is what I'm going to go with. A little bit extra black pepper.
Yeah, fairly light with a little bit, like, to me, that cherry and oak kind of linger, but it's not a bright cherry. It's more of the oak layered with a subtle cherry, is what I get as it lingers on in the finish.
Yeah, it's like a really dark red, deep red cherry that might almost be ready to be bad. Just that like deep dark.
Are you eating the cherries off the ground again?
I do. I get a little bit of a buzz if I eat enough of them.
Fermented.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, like when I drank, we were texting in the group chat as we got this the first time and tasted it more than once, and I was a fan. But I was tasting it solo as well. I really like the rich oak character. I'm an oak guy, so you give me oak, I'm probably gonna like it. And this is enough oaks layered in with a little bit of sweetness from the cherry, as well as just some caramely sweetness. But then, like, really, it's the oak and a little bit of baking spices that dominate the palate and the finish. So overall, like, I think for the value, like, if you were just looking at this bottle, this is right in there. Like, I'd still recommend this as a buy if you were looking at it in just this release.
Yeah, no, that's, I think, and we're gonna try it against BRT01 here, which was kind of our favorite from last year. I think where I am on this is I wish this was a standard maker's product, the 110 entry barrel proof stuff, because it was really cool in the DNA series to see them altering all of that stuff. And yes, lower entry proof costs more money and everything like that. But it is so rich, so complex, so much flavor. It's really good and a great thing to have on your shelf. I don't think it's going to stand up against the other parts of the series just because there was something special with those. Whereas this to me is just 100% quality makers.
Yeah. And you said you wish this was a standard product. I think 46 cask strength gets you really close to this.
Okay.
And that is what I just tasted side by side here. Was 46 cask. And that was a suggestion by one of our Patreon was, shout out to Derek, but he's like, I'd just take 46 cask over this. And I initially I resisted. I was like, no, this BEP is really good. But I think 46 cask gets you really close. But when I first tasted this, I tasted it against SE4 PR5. So I was tasting the BEP first, liked it, enjoyed it, and then wanted to compare it against one of the others. So I poured what I don't have the RC6, so I went to the oldest, the SE4 PR5, which I haven't had in a long time. And as I normally do, I hand the glass to my now wife, Hannah, and she noses it. She appreciates the nosing experience. She wouldn't give it back to me. I was like, are you going to keep it? Like, can I have that back? She said no. So the SE4 PR5 was that good.
There you go.
And that might be the difference between good and just absolutely great. But the nose on SE4PR5. Maybe even better than this BRT01, but I agree with you, TJ. This BRT01 is superior.
Yeah, and a lot of people commented on our dovetail video that they want to see that evergreen flight. So maybe we do Maker's Mark Wood Finish Series flight now that it's over, and I do have every bottle. So
let's make it happen.
We could do that. So this BRT01 is 10 virgin toasted American oak staves. And it comes in at 109.4 proof, so very, very similar proof. But yeah, like you said, on the nose, it is just buttery caramel.
Yeah, I was getting brown sugar. Now I'm almost getting like a little bit of like, it reminds me, and maybe some of this is the oak coming through, but a little bit of an Armagnac character. It's like a aged grape spirit with that oak.
Or I could see that, yeah. But like this is one, like, if you smelled, you're not going to be like, oh, that's Maker's Mark. The BEP, I could probably say, okay, that's probably a Maker's Mark product. Maybe Weller or something like that. Like, it's a traditional weeded product. This, I don't think you'd pick up on that.
Initially, the palate on this is a bit more of a light apple, a little bit of a light fruit.
Yeah.
But it does transition into those oak characters, those finishing characters, the finished American stave characters, and still gives you a robust oakiness, but it kind of lets you have your moment with the sweetness and the fruit before it gives you that oakiness, which I think was different with the BEP. It's more wood forward.
I think it's going to come down to just what you prefer. Like, I can honestly say both are really, really good. A lot better. Every time I tried the BEP, I'm pleasantly surprised more and more with it. Originally, when I had it, I was like, it's just a Maker's product. But it is a high quality Maker's product. And like, I honestly think tonight I'm going to lean towards the BEP personally. For me, it's got that deep, caramely, viscous, bourbony feel that I just generally really like. I mean, that's why I like my Elijah Craig's. Is there with that one. And the BEP is a little bit more light, fruity, much more like a Four Roses, I would say, tonight. And I mean, at least for my palate, if you've watched the channel long enough, when I have a chance between, I know Chuck's just gonna be like, between something new and something old, but when I have a chance between something that is viscous, caramely, like syrupy, versus lighter and fruity, I'm always going to go the viscous caramel. That's just who I am.
Absolutely. That's generally, I would back you up on your statement there. I think that's true, that the data shows. No, but that's why I initially, you guys, I mean, you and some of the Patreons that had tasted this weren't enjoying the BEP. And initially I was like, hang on, guys, like, to me, this is really good. But I was only tasting it, by itself and solo. I think you're right about the difference of preference. I think it's the BEP, since that's what we're really focusing on. We've reviewed the BRT01 previously. The BEP to me is just like, it's got this it's almost a bitter, astringent note that coats my tongue in the palate. And it's not a bad thing. I just think it's a preference thing. If you're looking for the lighter, fruity, you want some more apple characters, a little bit more of that sweetness, brown sugar, caramely, BRT01 is going to be your jam. But if you don't mind that powerful, it's different than an aged oak, because it's not like, I wouldn't, like, I don't taste this and think, oh, this is Calumet 16, or this is this is a 15-year Kentucky bourbon. I don't think that, but it's got a strong oak character in the BEP, and again, it kind of gives me like this. It's just this. It's different than some of the drying sensations. For me, it's right on the outside of that tongue. Gives me a little bit of that bitter sensation along with the oak, but still very good.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if you like traditional Maker's Mark and you want it turned up to 100 BEP, you're going to need to buy. You're going to need to buy a backup. You're going to need to buy a backup of the backup, because it's the end and it's where you are. If you just want something kind of on your shelf, you've got all the other wood finish series. You're going to enjoy it. It might not be your favorite, but it's still a quality product. And I think it's getting better the more I let it sit and really just like think about it and try it. And I think it's fair to say we had high expectations going in, probably a little unfair because it was the final of the Maker's Mark Wood Finish Series and they've all been great. Do I think they finished as high and amazing as they could? No, but do I think they finished strong when you stop and think about it? Yes. And of course, I'm going to say it's definitely a buy for at least one bottle to have it on your shelf.
Yeah, to round this out, I think our expectations were unreasonable. Maybe not unreasonable, but just high. And yeah, initially it didn't probably meet that. But to me, if you step back, this is definitely a buy. And I think it's probably better. I think you got to go back to the FAE series. So the 2021. So skip a year. The BRTs. I think you got to go back to the FAE releases to find something better in the wood finishing series than this, personally.
I like it. So with that, let us know in the comments below. Have you got a bottle? Do you like the wood finish series? And what do you think they're going to do next? Because nobody's going to stop limited editions because, again, ding, there went another one. So the question becomes, what's next for Maker's Mark? If you haven't paid attention to the news, they are getting ready to drop a blend of an 11 and a 12-year-old Maker's Mark. So sign me up for that. I will be there. We will do a review. It'll probably be like 3 months after when it's actually released, but we'll get you your review. So with that, cheers, and we'll see you next time.
Stay neat.